It's another scorcher for WWE NXT as they bring us once again a heat wave, this time from Lola, Massachusetts. And this is Simply Predicting. Welcome to the discussion. As we know it, this is TNA's last chance to possibly get the Cornerstone of the Knockouts Championship back under NXT. Will history be made or will it be more of the same? Let's talk about it, shall we? At least we're not talking about that one trick pony. Booker T cosplayer. Anyway, that's enough of that. Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again to Simply Predicting. You know what this is. I am the simple man of the simple brand, the voice of the SRS, forever grateful for all things professional wrestling. Damn it. My name is Noah Foster. Of course, right now I am with both the MVPs of all the prediction leagues and, of course, the entire Simple Lab Studios family, Emmanuel and Arlene, the Dominguez. And if you haven't already, please sure to follow them on the social medias. Again, folks, your opinions matter too, so please let your predictions be known in the chat. Stay on topic. But if you want to dictate the conversation, you will see in the description PayPal links, PayPal the Passions, or Super Chats, as simple as that. Others may join us. And of course, for those that are involved in the NXT League, stay tuned for the predictions forum some point tomorrow morning on my social media platforms and in the comment sections of each of these streams. Darren G, good to see you as well. Good to see everybody as always. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend as I predict all shows, WWE, NXT, TNA, AEW, ROH, and some other stuff on the side just for fun because that's how much I love professional wrestling. Damn it. All right, let's go ahead and get some initial thoughts on how we feel about Heat Wave before we get into the discussion. First and foremost, literally has made a tagline. One of the biggest. Emmanuel, good to see you once again, my friend. How are you feeling about NXT Heatwave? Screw that W logo. It's still NXT. It should be NXT. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be an interesting pay-per-view. I mean, like usually Heat Wave is a on TV pay-per-view from for USA, but this time we're gonna see it on the big screen, and I kind of okay with some of the matches. Some are questionable for a pay-per-view match, but it is what it is for the $9.99. If this was the ESPN $30, then I would be questioning why am I spending this $30 the dollar pay-per-view, but that's a different story.
I'm not gonna rant. I'm gonna be just straight on the line. Matt Helms, good to see you. But that's a fair analysis. And yeah, I'm sure that'll be also a topic of conversation for the Saturday shenanigans. So, of course, folks, just a little bit of a side plug. Stay tuned this Saturday for the weekly moderated conversation of Wrestling Madness. That is the Saturday shenanigans. Of course, usually hosted by the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams, but sometimes it seems that I am in the proverbial seat of madness hosting. Well, I'm under 15 minutes, so I'll call them what they are as human beings, monkeys. So stay tuned for the Saturday shenanigans this Saturday. All right, that being said, it's always good to have the leader of the NXT Predictions League. This is for NXT, damn it. And JJ, I'm sorry, the numbers don't lie. Arlene, it's good to have you back once again in the proverbial predicting virtual booth. How are you, pal?
I'm doing good. Ashley, Mark, if you're watching this, let us create an alliance so we can all end up in first place so that I and you two can be in first place. I'm willing to share first place with you. Send me a message on
Oh, my Lord.
Instagram so we could win first place together.
Keep turning the knife in JJ's back. Why he's not even on screen. Why don't you keep turning the knife? Why he's at 13 points for the team? But yeah, for all I know, you, Mark, and Ashley might become the new DarkState of the freaking NXT Predictions League. But again, we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I will say this. Again, it's not my NXT, but it's better than what it used to be, but it's questionable what it's going to be. And this Heat Wave does not excite me as much as last year, but there is a couple of matches that definitely intrigue me when it comes to the future above NXT and TNA. So I think before we get into that, let me just go ahead and look at the leaderboards here real quick. Again, folks, the NX team of No DQ, Dwayne, Matthew, Casa, Steve are holding it down at 21 points. I'm shortly behind them along with Boss Man Aaron Riff at 20, so yet a No DQ. And as Arlene pointed out, her and Ashley are holding down the fort for the Galaxy, while, of course, Mark is with them as well, and Brendan R. is shortly behind them with Christopher Rods and Richard Morales. So, again, it's still everybody's game. Speaking of predictions, He, of course, is getting used to not only taking part in Predictions League, he is also getting used to being part of City Predicting. A great friend of course, Survival Studios as well in the chat, moreover than not, as long as he doesn't fall down a manhole cover in TMNT. It's Charles Schultz, also known as Avatar Man. Charles, good to see you once again. Welcome to City Predicting, my friend. I know you're ready to level up and reach a high score. How are you feeling about this show overall, though?
First of all, damn you for that. Bringing up that freaking manhole comment again. Come on.
Gonna follow you the rest of your life.
Damn you. I feel good. I'm ready to have some fun.
Yeah, well, I feel
Now
like
to honor being here with the Dominguez's as well.
Yeah, I gotta say, we got the three key folks of the Super Reliable Studios chat family now, part of City Predicting. So this is sure to be something. Something!
But,
Damn it, why is it something on NXT? Anyway, all right.
There we go. We gotta say it.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it had to happen at least once. Plus, he was in action on TNA tonight. And stay tuned, folks. There may be some TNA spoilers if you haven't watched TNA Impact tonight. And of course, we're going to spoil NXT because, duh, we're talking about NXT Heatwave. But I think without further ado, City Predicting family and community, professional wrestling fans, casual and hardcores, NXT enthusiasts, TNA faithful, and the questionable too. Let's get right into it. So again, folks, NXT Heatwave is this Sunday on the Peacock for $9.99. Of course, it'll be on 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yes, we will be covering it. It will be me and Walter Cruz calling this show following the Forbidden Door because I'm freaking crazy. So stay tuned for more on that. All right. Let's go ahead and get right into things. As you all know, City Predicting starts off with a match. Someone starts a discussion, leads a prediction. Then we go into round-robin discussion. With the length of this card and how many people we have, I figure we'll get everybody's thoughts on each. And Arlene, I see you have your hand up. You want to say something real quick?
I blame Yoshi. I would be at 21. I would have had a perfect score if stupid Yoshi hadn't showed up and ruined my perfect score. My brother still here has to hear me say, "Damn you, Yoshi," because of his when he came back and how stupid.
Well, you probably like Yoshi and Mario Kart more than Yoshi Inamura in NXT, but I think the Renegade would love to have a laugh at you if you can get nothing against you. Speaking of which, this is his NXT versus her NXT. He is, of course, the man that brings the rage. He is the Renegade. He is the moderator of the Saturday Shenanigans. One of my closest friends that I've never put respect for when it comes to priorities or passions. The RageofWrestling and Chase U alumni, JJ Williams, has arrived right on time. JJ, you made it. Good to hear you, bruv. How you feel about NXT Heatwave?
Well, I'm going to reiterate what I've been telling a lot of people, and I've probably said it to you a few times. I don't remember the last time I've watched the weekly product for pretty much any show. So I'm going into this blind as far as angles and whatnot, and I'm just going off of gut instinct. I don't care who's at the top of the leaderboard, Miss Dominguez is. This will forever be my NXT, damn it.
All right, then.
I believe we chased you.
No. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the discussion. Well, that was very politically said. And with that being said, JJ being left in the dark, hey, maybe he knows more about DarkState than we know, because I'm going to let him lead things off with this. Let's start off with the NXT Tag Team Championships. It is Hank and Tank defending the NXT Tag Team titles against two members of DarkState. Not even going to say their names because who the hell cares? It's Retribution. Insert names here. They have ran roughshod these renegades. Sorry, JJ. They are what they are. These madmen, these freaking, you might as well call them anarchists, have been running roughshod across NXT and TNA against anybody with or without a championship. And Hank and Tank are freaking sick of it. So much so, they barked at Ava Raine to give these guys a fight. And the only way they were going to fight, apparently, according to the NXT general manager, was if you put the NXT Tag Team titles on the line. We've already seen Hank and Tank successfully defend these titles against, I believe, DarkState at one point, amongst other teams. Of course, been champions since being Fraxium earlier this year. But the fact that Hank and Tank are willingly letting DarkState exercise the Freebird rule, where they have no idea which two they're dealing with. Are they setting themselves up to be left in the dark and relinquished of the NXT Tag Team Championships? Well, JJ, it's on you. You followed DarkState for quite a long time. You literally christened them Retribution, but maybe they're actually better than that. And would winning the NXT tag titles justify that? However, Hank and Tank arguably beat the best tag team in WWE in recent memory. So, what you got to say regarding this NXT Tag Team Championship match with that brief cliff note?
I'm giving this to DarkState. They already failed once. They've got to get it this time. Hank and Tank were always going to be transitional champions until they figured out who they wanted to put the belts on. My only beef with Hank and Tank is they held the titles longer than both Chase U reigns combined.
Accurate. All right, fair enough. Well, the opening bout for this match has been set to DarkState. We already got people in the city predicting chat disagreeing, saying Hank and Tank for the win. Let's go around the horn and see what you all think. They'll start this match. We will go clockwise for this one. Emmanuel, you're on the bubble next. DarkState. Again, these guys, they've ran roughshod. They've gotten some key wins on NXT, but they've also eaten their first losses very recently, including over in TNA when the system was able to beat them. However, no matter how you want to look at it, they do have a win over the current TNA champion, NXT champion, Moose, and Javon Evans. And, of course, 8-man tag team action. So what do you think happens here?
I have to agree with AJ. I mean, DarkState is going to win this tag team titles. I mean, like unfortunately for Hank and Tank, their run has gone its course. I mean, like, they're a great tag team. They did what they needed to do to dethrone Rexium, and during that time. And right now, it's like they need to start developing DarkState as a faction, because if they failed this time, now what? It's like, are they ever gonna get what the goal was, is take over NXT? If they don't win the tag team titles, then then they have more questions to solve themselves. To like, what's wrong with us? Why can't we win tag team titles? Why are we not completing our mission? What we've been saying all this time, we gotta take over NXT, and that's the only way to do it, is to get basically every title possible and grab the chokehold, and that's the only way to do it, because I don't know what else you could do with Hack and Tank as a tag team. Like, I think they face a lot of great tag teams, and they kind of ran its course as, facing the heel teams and face teams, and I don't know what else you could do with them as a tag team. So,
I mean, yeah, what tag team division in WWE? I'll wait. I'll give SmackDown credit. They actually have at least some depth. Okay, so that being said, to an agreement for JJ. DarkState for the win. Arlene, what is DarkState besides what we thought was just enhancement talent jobbers that just wear a wolf mask that looks more marketable than what the Shield wore at WrestleMania 30? Maybe they're actually justified here with a win. Maybe there actually is some sort of merit to the threat and the quality of these foursome. And maybe the tag titles will justify that. Then again, is it about the tag titles, or is it about destroying NXT? Is it about taking over TNA? What is DarkState's MO? There is no leader, clearly. There's no mission statement, just utter chaos. So what do you think?
I was conflicted, actually, with this one. Everybody seemed so sure that DarkState was going to win. But look at all the enemies that DarkState has. They've created a lot of enemies, both on NXT and TNA. Who's to say that not one of them is going to cause them to lose this championship and have Hank and Tank win? That was my first thing. But then this is going to, like you said, this is their second time facing them. They have to win this one. Otherwise, like, why are we repeating this if they're not going to win the titles? So I can say now that DarkState will be ending up winning this, and then maybe one of the teams that has had grudge with the DarkState comes up after the match and wants next, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna go with DarkState. But I might end up switching it on Saturday, but yeah, there's just something like they just have so many enemies that it makes me think that, one of them's gonna cost them the match. But then, like my brother says, like, what do you do with DarkState if they lose, you know? And they already had their like chance. So, if are you really gonna build this up for them to lose again twice? But who knows? Sometimes NXT does that. Like they. So, but for right now, I'm gonna say DarkState, but just because of that. But they have a lot of enemies, so I wouldn't be surprised towards the end of the match, one of those teams, whether TNA or NXT, wants next.
That's fair. Also, botch. Remember, NXT Heatwave is Sunday, and as far as predictions being finalized, they are final and submitted no later than 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday night. You have till then to change them and submit them. I mean, after that, you're screwed. All right, so fair enough. Right now, it's all DarkState. I'm actually quite surprised by that, personally. Charles, DarkState, to everyone's points, they are undefeated in NXT, actually. They have only lost literally one match, and it was at TNA against the system. So, that being said, does Hank and Tate hand DarkState their first loss in NXT, or does the undefeated streak lead them to their first championships? What do you think?
Yeah, DarkState's win the belts. They need to win the belts, because otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't think there was much more thought to this match when I considered at the end of the day, personal thoughts aside, and I could Jeff roast this freaking thing all night long. DarkState's undefeated. DarkState has no direction. DarkState has been a focal point of NXT and TNA, even if it's out of nowhere. Random chaos, random nonsense, but it actually yields results. They have pins over champions. They've pushed champions to actually put out the challenge versus challenge them. Champions might have their own downfall, and what else does Hank and Tank got left to do besides, pull a truck horn? Might as well be the new heavy machinery. That being said, I actually agree with all of you. I think DarkState is going to win the titles. And again, the element of surprise. Not only do they have the numbers game, Hank and Tank have no damn bleeping idea who they're facing. And it's not 3 men, it's 4 men. You got 2 men on the outside here. Everything favors DarkState right now to win this. The only way they don't is if they just unleash chaos and it ends in disqualification. And again, folks, the predictions league here and City Predicting and No DQ are about who leaves with the gold as champions and are declared such as the winners. At the end of the day, I think your NXT, whoever's NXT this is going dark, pitch black. I think DarkState are winning the tag titles as well. All right.
I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, what more is there for Hank and Tank to do as champions?
Exactly. What tag division do you have? Anyway.
And they've done way better than anybody I think would have given them credit for.
I'll give you that. I will give you that. Credit where credit's due. I did not even have Hank and Tank winning at WrestleMania weekend, and they literally stood and deliver. Respect. All right. Well done, everybody. Okay, let's keep going on around the horn here and move forward into our next match. We will move away from championships to championship contendership. Emmanuel, you're on point for this because Walter, good thing he's asleep because I don't think he could survive talking about this match. All my mamacitas for him. We got Jaida Parker versus Kelani Jordynne versus Lola Vice to determine the new number 1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. All 3 of these women have justified their case towards fatal influences Jacy, Jayne. And of course, all 3 of these women, badass attitude, no strangers to fatal influence. Heck, we even saw fatal influence Jasmine Nix and Fallon Henry losing a tag bout to 2 of these women in Kelani Jordynne and Lola Vice. And Jaida Parker ain't winning for nobody. And we've already seen how many moments that Jaida Parker, Kelani Jordynne, and Lola Vice have taken, as well as shots towards both the NXT Women's North American and the NXT Women's Championship. Bottom line here, Emmanuel, Buffer, fall person, that's saying something with these 3 women. Only one's going to be determined to be the number 1 contender to Jacy, Jayne and the NXT Women's Championship. Does it fatal influence this at all? And at the end of the day, y'all basically got 3 heels here that are going to go after a heel. Lola Vice at this point is kind of a tweener, and Jaida Parker, you can probably say the same thing for her. Only one woman can win, and there's no disqualification. Anything goes. First pinfall submission inside of the ring. Emmanuel, who do you got becoming the new number 1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship?
Unfortunately, the fall person has to be Lola Vice. Sadly, she's Triple A. She's going to Triple A a lot. Like they've already been using her lately in NXT. Sadly, and that's for a reason. I'm not sure if they're trying to get make her more appealing for the Latino market. I'm not sure what the reason why she hasn't been NXT lately, but for some odd reason they're keeping her off and more in Triple A. So for some odd reason, so that's my logic why Lois to take the fall. So it's between Kelani and Jaida. I think Jaida is gonna eventually dethrone Jacy, but it's not gonna happen to this pay-per-view, and they're gonna keep the title keep going. So Kelani Jordynne is gonna be the next victim to eat Jacy Jayne. The pen once she gets the #1 contendership, unfortunately, in my opinion. So Kelani James for the win.
Wow. All right then. Well, Emmanuel had set the ballot for Kelani Jordynne and Lola Vice being the fall person. Okay, well, again, Kelani Jordynne, inaugural NXT Women's North American Champion. She is her, but does her miss like him sometimes does. Just saying. All right, JJ, have it your way. These are 3 of your biggest followings you have seen evolve through your NXT. And honestly, one might be main roster bound based on what Emmanuel just said, because that AAA stuff is very justified. So what do you think? Who you got winning this #1 contenders match?
See, Emmanuel brings up a great point, and it's that great point that has me confused. Because I think a lot of people like Emmanuel look at this and they just figure, oh, Lola's here to eat the pin. But I also look, like he pointed out, about all the crossover work she's doing with AAA. Is it possible they would give her the #1 contendership to potentially dethrone Jacy Jayne so that that belt is seen on AAA television? That's the other part of this that's going through my head. While I don't think that's the way they're going, I have, just that little bit of hesitation in my pick.
Don't blame you.
But I think Emmanuel is otherwise spot on. I've got Kelani here. As much as I want to support Jaida, I don't know if it's her time yet.
Okay.
And I see Jacy losing the Knockouts title before she loses the NXT title. Which, unfortunately, that probably won't be till Bound to Glory, so that's at least October she's holding it till.
Okay, that's a fun.
But we'll get to that match a little bit later.
Oh, yes, we will, with Timu Britney Spears and emo Katy Perry. Okay, fair enough. We got 2 Kelani Jordans. All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, Jaida Parker's already been involved in the Royal Rumble. She's literally stood out completely on her own. Might as well forgot what OTM was. They got wasted. It does feel like, though, that Kelani Jordynne could be bound for other things. But it feels like Lola Vice is bound for even bigger things because of the AAA connection. So that kind of does leave the whole Jaida Parker, Kelani Jordynne dynamic. And we all saw the feud with Jaida Parker and Lola Vice and who stood on top at the end of that. So this could literally break down into something like that later on. But looking at the fact we are dealing with a heel NXT women's champion, who's the more babyface here of this trio that the audience favors? I feel Kelani Jordynne's kind of gotten back in the good graces, even with a count-out win against Blake Monroe. Talk more about that later. But she has never been, of course, anywhere near the NXT Women's Championship. Again, the inaugural NXT Women's North American Champion. I think I am going to go right now with you two and agree with this mindset. I do think Kelani Jordynne is going to get the match, but I think Jaida Parker is going to be still an influence towards the outcome of it, and I think we're going to get a feud out of it. I do see something building out of Jaida and Kelani that leads to one of these two not being NXT for much longer. But as far as the title chance right now, I am going to agree with you two and go with Kelani Jordynne. All right, so we're unanimous so far in this match as well. Charles, what do you think about this match and the Lola Vice AAA showcase influencing whether or not she should even be considered a result here? Do you think Jaida Parker and Kelani Jordynne maybe have so much heated against each other based on their past that maybe Lola Vice can capitalize here, or does Jaida Parker come in from the back with that hip tonic and maybe steal a win? What do you think happens here?
First of all, damn it, JJ, you read my mind. What the hell?
This is
Read my
what he
mind with
does.
that.
This is what he does.
And I agree. I agree with him, and I agree with Manuel, and I agree with Kalani's winning this.
Nothing further
All
to
the
add
way.
besides that. Nothing further to add besides that, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
As simple as that. All right. And that just leaves the lady, of course. And let's see how the Dominguezes love to change prediction dynamics. Arlene, do you agree with everybody, or do you have a different thought? Who you got being the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship?
I disagree with you guys. What do you know? I do. I think it is Jada's time. Kelani has been off NXT for a while. I know JJ hasn't been watching it, but she just started to come back into the picture. It's kind of like Thea, who was gone for a while, and then they, you knew she wasn't going to win at Stand and Deliver, but some people had that hope, but she just came back. Just like Kelani, she just came back from not being shown on TV and everything like that. So I don't think they're going to give it to her. I think that Jaida is going to be the one to win this. Who's eating the pin? I disagree with you guys. I think Lola is going to eat the pin. Here's why. Triple Mania. She got attacked. I don't know the wrestler's name. Sorry, I'm not really good at these wrestlers' names from Triple Mania. But it was an accident, according to her. But she didn't have that face. That was an accident, And she even got on Iguada's case like she did this on purpose. So I think that she is going to cost Lola, and this is going to cause Lola to have a match at Triple Mania in Las Vegas.
Ew,
Lola's
shit.
going to eat the pin. And
by the way,
Triple Mania, this is how you get the AAA stars into NXT and then get those NXT stars, get them like well known and stuff. So because you don't really see them in WWE, so this is how you slowly start bringing wrestlers from AAA to the NXT at least. That way people get to familiarize themselves with them. And they're like, who's that? And then that's when Corey Graves, who was at Triple Mania, say, oh, I'm sorry. Again, I don't know this wrestler's name.
La
Sorry.
Hieja.
She's the one that, cost Iguana and Lola the match last for the Triple Mania. Like, what's she doing here? So there's probably that grudge. So I think Lola's gonna end up eating this pin. If it's not and if it's not her that comes in, I still think Lola's gonna eat the pin, and this is gonna lead her to a match in Triple Mania. Either way, she's gonna have a match in Triple Mania.
That's a fair shout. And before Noah can say it, it's not Triple Mania, it's Worlds Collide. But don't botch her, because this is the second Worlds Collide we've had this year, and there were 2 Triple Manias. Triple Mania 33 and Regia. So I totally get the confusion there. But that's something I didn't think about, Arlene. That's a good shout there.
Yeah, and again, Kelani Jordynne and Lola Vice already have worked together as a tag team. Jaida Parker looking on from the outside, but they've also been involved in Fatal Influence in some way or capacity. To your point, Kelani Jordynne's only been involved literally on 2 NXT shows since the beginning of this month. She beat, of course, Blake Monroe at Countout, and most recently, her and Lola Vice beat Found Hemi and Jacy Jayne. Just put that in perspective. While Jaida Parker, of course, she beat Jasmine Nix, the rookie of the group. And Jaida Parker, honestly, has kind of been the mainstay of the NXT women's division. Whether or not it was NXT Women's Championship, number contender, fatal 4-ways. Let's forget. Jordynne Grace, of course, won that. And, of course, Jaida Parker has been so close to get towards this championship that I do think there is a following that believes she could literally hold on, get the title. All right. And hey, look at that. Nice. Anyway, all right. So we got 4 Kelanis and 1 Jaida Parker. But Lola Vice in the fall out of what Arlene said versus They just for a moment. Anyway, Emmanuel, I see your hand up. You got something to say real quick?
Like the only before or in the connect to tell her, like, well, the only reason why I didn't go with Jaida Parker, because like if Jaida Parker like she doesn't have she will probably win it once the influence breaks up, like the hint of the breakup, because if she's there, like she's on number still 3-1, and so until that faction's about to break, that's the only way Jaida Parker could win, because then you're basically bearing influence again. Like, how come one person can beat 3 people? Like, that's like the dumb like heels like can't go over one baby face. So that's why it's until they break up, like the first signs of the breakup.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Well, good stuff on that. Let's move into our third match. And I'm going to ask you all one question. Are you proud to be a North American, or are you more about patriotism? Because let's go ahead and talk about the Canadian Connection, the best in North America versus 2 American gladiators, shall we? Ego. Ego has been paged, and damn, JJ. Chelsea Green with her Secret Harvest. They take on Tavion Heights and the newest comer to the NXT Women's Division, also a former Olympian, Tyra Steele. Of course, this was brought on when Tavion Heights wanted to pursue the NXT North American Championship, while Ego Page has called himself the best in North America, also the best to come out of Canada. Thus, rechristening that, of course, for Canada, as you now see the Canadian flag, christening the NXT North American Championship. I'm not going to lie, that actually looks like a pretty darn good job. And Chelsea Green has come here to support her fellow Canadian, the best North American, to bring forth this Canadian connection, the face of America and the face of Canada, ruling North America. It seems poetic. Meanwhile, Tavion Heights is like, you're right, I would never hit a woman, but I got somebody that will. So much so that we thought we were going to have a peaceful peace agreement. Basically, Chelsea Green was moderating if, peace was brought between 2 nations on the same continent. Well, that didn't work, and it ended up with Tyra Steele and Tavion Heights locking both the ankles of Ethan Page and Chelsea Green ankle locks. So now we have a mixed tag team match play us. Bottom line, this is about pride, and I feel more importantly, this is also Tyra Steele to show what she's truly capable of, and also Tavion Heights trying to get a shot at the NXT North American Championship. Oh, Canada, or God bless America? In the hot mess you trust, or does Tavion Heights have the American grit needed? Let's go to Charles Schultz to lead the prediction on this. Charles, who you got winning this mixed tag team match? The best in North America, or the 2 Olympians?
I'm going with the 2 Olympians on this one.
All right.
I see this coming out, this setting up Tavion Heights getting an North America title shot.
All right. Well, there you go. Simply put. All right.
Yep.
So Charles Schultz has, of course, given it to the American Gladiators. Let's go ahead and see what the rest of y'all think. We'll go this time counterclockwise, and Arlene, you are next this time. What do you think about this unique dynamic of Ethan Page and Chelsea Green? I think this could go places. Honestly, Chelsea Green for the NXT Women's North American Champion, Ethan Page, the Men's North American Championship, the 2 best in North America, both Canadian titles. I like the sound of that, but that's a whole different conversation. But this whole dynamic now of Tavion Heights no longer being under No Quarter Catch Crew, of course, after being Charlie Dempsey. The only one with him right now is Winston Sinclair. This is the first stepping stone, as we saw Miles Boyd step out and go after the actual NXT championship. For Tavion Heights, though, this could be a great way to go after the mid-card title towards maybe bigger and better things. What do you think about this? Who you got?
I got the Canada people winning. I was going to say British, but they're not British. The Canada people winning.
I mean, French-Canadian, but that's a whole different conversation. I don't think neither are French-Canadian, but continue.
And here's my reasoning. Just because the way they're booking, what's that guy's name? The one that won LFG.
Jasper Troy.
There you go, Jasper Troy. The way they've been booking him to be losing, I feel like they're gonna book her the same way. And I love the Ethan Page Chelsea Green relationship. Their freaking video where she's singing Celine Dion freaking cracked me up. We need more of this. We need more of this.
No,
we
I don't need more Celine Dion. Another
Yes, we
great
do.
Canadian, but I don't need no more.
We need
No.
more Ethan Page and Chelsea Green together. That's what I
Okay.
want.
I
So
do agree about that.
so I want them to win so we can get more of them. So that is why, and the bet just because of the Jasper book, the way they're booking him and to lose. I mean, like he won LFG, and you're just burying him. Like, who's to say they're not going to bury her too? Like, I don't get why they're doing this to these people. That like, I don't think she did. She win? I'm sorry, I didn't finish watching LFG. She didn't win.
Diamond Steele, I think, was a finalist, but I don't think she was the winner.
So either way, I mean, like just the way they're booking those people in Evolve, I think she's gonna end up losing. And I feel like maybe Charles Dempsey, the no catch Republican guy, that's his name, right? I'm like really sometimes
No quarter catch crew, Charlie Dempsey, Wembrigo's son.
Okay, so I feel like he might cost him because like he's lost everybody. He's lost Miles Bourne. He's at a breaking point, so I feel like maybe he might get into this match for whatever reason. Something in my gut tells me something that he's not taking this lightly. He lost everybody that was in his team. And Ren Sinclair, why aren't they using her? That's another story for another day. But I'm going for
she's entertaining.
Ethan Page and Chelsea for the Green because I want this relationship to continue.
Fair enough. JJ, I see your hand up. What you got to say real quick, bro?
We'll let Emmanuel go, and then I'll give my take and everything. But I just wanted to point out that she was the female winner of LFG. I did look that up
she
real
was.
quick.
I wasn't sure. I just know that she's a former.
It's okay. I didn't finish LFG. Arlene didn't finish it. You don't watch it. You only watch clips. So I just wanted to make sure we got that out there before Emmanuel went on. She was the female winner.
Okay, well, thank you for that clarification. She's also a former Olympian and Olympic gold medalist. That being said, Emmanuel,
yes, the 2020 Tokyo Games.
Yes, we don't talk about the pandemic though for reasons. Still, congrats. Emmanuel, what do you think here? Personally, the Canadian Connection might actually be something worthwhile for me in WWE, and that's saying a lot for this company. And I gotta admit, the character dynamics there and the personalities there, and even right now has been over like Rover in NXT. So what do you think about this mixed tag? Should we push Tavion Heights towards the NXT North American Championship this soon? Or do you think he still needs to work harder for it and cross the border?
This is going to be a tough one. Where's this pay-per-view holding up, Noah? Do you know?
Lowell, Massachusetts. Okay.
Because usually where the city is at with country business country, this is a great indication which country is going to win. And most of the time when Bret Hart was in the flag match against the USA and Canada, you know the history.
No, I do.
Canadians have always won and they captured the flag for their team. So, unfortunately, I gotta have to go this cop out. Like, Team America wins because they're in the American soil. Yes, Arlene, I love Chelsea Green and Ethan Page duo. I hope they stretch this a little bit more longer in NXT. If this is the future call up for Ethan Page, I hope he goes to SmackDown and that's when they meet again and they work together to take over the IC the United States for both brands if they want to go to that route again for Chelsea Green. If not, we'll send them to Raw. Raw desperately needs a heel. Like, Chelsea Green's the only viable heel that is mainstream, that's in the higher card, mid-card act. Unfortunately, that's how it is.
That doesn't work for them, brother.
But you get my point, though. It's like she's in that upper tier, mid-card tier.
Oh,
she's versatile. Like, and it'll help the division that Raw really needs. So it'll make sense if Ethan goes with Chelsea and they continue this act in the main roster. And the main roster still enjoy this. The annoyance of Team Canada trying to align themselves again, and it's money. Like I could see the merchandising and everything like that. But
while you're trying to build the balance, let's look at the initial deposit right now, man, and focus on NXT. You're going a little bit
yeah,
off.
no, I know, I know. That's what I was gonna cut her right now. Like, but yeah, that's why I have Tavion winning, and that's how he gets the #1 contendership for the North American title, like Charles said.
All right. Well, JJ, it's WWE. It almost feels too cut and dry unless there's a disqualification involved. And I also think about the fact that we do have the secret Hervis in, of course, the Canadian Connections Corner. Shout out, by the way, to our favorite Canadian, yours and mine, our Canadian friend, Ash, at ShadowBatDash. Follow her on the social medias, folks. Don't be a dickhead. Appreciate you, pal. Cheers. JJ, what do you think about this? I mean, since Ethan Page beat Ricky Sainz to regain the North American Championship and christen it for Canada, where he's the best in North America, beat that son of my gun, Santino Marella, and now has Chelsea Green endorsing him, supporting him, campaigning for him like a proper politician would. And then again, they got a prime minister. But again, Tavion Heights, 2 years in his wrestling career, trying to break out on his own. We saw what Miles Bourne did. And again, literally, I don't think that a Tyra May Steele has had a single match officially yet in NXT since out of LFG. So, talk about being on the big stage and tag matches, you always say, protect those that are inexperienced. So, what do you think? You're muted.
This is an interesting one here because I kind of agree with a lot of points that have been made over here. But I think the person that I agree most with begrudgingly is Arlene. I think it's going to be the egotistical mess here picking up the victory. You know, Tavion left the No Quarter Catch crew and has done what since?
Nothing.
Tyra May Steele is coming up from LFG and Evolve. I think the true X factor here is the secret Hervis. You know, the question is, are they going to come through for their leader, Chelsea, or they're going to be a couple of bumbling buffoons like the Keystone Cops?
Don't say that about Abba Fire and Piper Niven, but it's so true right now, and I understand
but
that
but I like the thought of Charlie Dempsey and Ren Sinclair getting involved and costing Tavion the match. Because then you spawn off two separate feuds. You let Tavion and Charlie run it back, and you give Ren something to do with Tyra May Steele. Because to Arlene's point, aside from Ren's Day reels on Instagram that I love watching, by the way. Shit is so funny.
I'll give you that.
And it just shows that she is so good, so entertaining, has such a personality. It's like, why aren't they using her more?
I mean,
so yeah, I've got Ethan Page and Chelsea Green, as I've dubbed them, the egotistical mess.
That's actually pretty brilliant. Manuel, I see your hand up real quick. You have a thought?
Like, I'm not disagreeing with Arlene and JJ because they could easily just like have them win, and then like they both do the ankle lock after the match, and that's how they stay, you know, hot and positive with the fans. So both, you know, and that's the only way that I could see that actually happen if they actually won.
That as JJ would say, that's fair. And to JJ's point, when it comes to Charlie Dempsey, hell, he lost in less than 4 minutes to freaking Joe Hendry. So the jury is out.
Man, he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Damn it. Anyway, and also 4 minutes. What sort of respect is that for either of those incredible men? Just saying. But I kind of agree where y'all are going here. And it is one of those things right now where it's like, oh, it's the first debut. They're gonna win. Blah, 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 blah. How about we break that convention for somebody that's not officially a WWE superstar yet and has probably 0 to none wrestling experience? I want Chelsea Green and Ethan Page to actually win, so fudge it. I'm going to absorb the ego. I'm going to go in all ego on this. I think Chelsea Green and Ethan Page are going to win this too. When this tandem was made, I screamed that give these both champions and chips and make them take over NXT. Damn it. And have them go into NXT TakeOver Canada, coming in as champions when Chelsea Green was left off in her hometown on War Games. Yeah, I remember that shit. Chelsea Green deserves better. So, again, don't get me started. Either way, I think that Chelsea Green and Ethan Page, again, their first time together as a tag team, and Lord knows they aren't doing jack diddly shit with her on SmackDown. This is a new life for her. I say Chelsea Green and Ethan Page get the win here and let those two run wild in their campaign to be the best in North America. Chelsea Green and Ethan Page for the win. And Nathan Banks, good to see you. Plus, let's make the Secret Hermits actually look somewhat capable of their job for Pete damn sake. Anyway, that's my little rant. You already know how much I love, how much I respect Chelsea Green and why I think she deserves better, damn it. Again, Chelsea Green still Ruga, NXT Women's North American Championship. We're good. All right. That being said, Damon Heights, good luck. Okay. Well, that was fun. I mean, again, Chelsea Green, Ethan Page, I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot of dynamic conversation involved. Oh, boy. All right. Well, speaking of dynamic conversation, what's ugly, what's pretty, enter the glamour. And I believe this is our 4th match, which means that, let's see here. It is Arlene. So how fitting. Arlene, you're going to talk about the glamour. Blake Monroe versus the juggernaut, Jordynne Grace. We all know how this story goes if you haven't watched NXT because you saw Evolution. Jordynne Grace, I'm going to just not rant. I'm not going to rant. I'm going to be on my behavior. I'm not going to rant. Jordynne Grace lost against Jacy Jayne in a chance to go to Slammiversary to not only be NXT Women's Champion going in, but to challenge for what she made the cornerstone of that company since the virtuoso Deonna Purrazzo for the better part of 2+ years. Of course, I'm talking about the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Due to the envy, the jealousy, the ugly, sinister nature of something so glamorous in Blake Monroe. And we all called it, let's just call it as we saw it, the Grand American Bash these two won as a duo. She stabbed her in the back quite literally with the title and cost her that shot as a rolling encore, sent Jacy Jayne, unfortunately, to Slammiversary. The rest is history. But since then, Jordynne Grace has ran absolutely apoplectic, destroying everybody in her path, man, woman, and security detail included. Even Ava Raine had to suspend her for a moment. When Jordynne Grace came back, she was dropped on her head with a DDT on a steel chair, brought back in a net brace as Blake Monroe thought she neutralized her. Blake Monroe believes she is untouchable and is the most glamorous thing in NXT, while Jordynne Grace is nothing more but petty and ugly and does not know how to hold up where it matters the most in the big spot because she can't control her attitude. And Jordynne Grace subtly grabs her finger and says, come Sunday, I'm going to show you exactly what ugly is. Now, Ava Raine, who's been one of the most integral officials of recent memory across WWE history, even said, based on what Blake Monroe has done and said towards his entire women's division, that even Ava Raine hopes that Jordynne Grace kicks her ass. So, Arlene, who gets their ass kicked this Sunday? And is it going to be a pretty catastrophe or an ugly disaster and a butt whooping? Do you got Blake Monroe or Jordynne Grace in this singles grudge bout?
Blake Monroe for the win, so this feud continues.
Simple as that. All right, then. Well, let's go ahead around the horn and get y'all's thoughts. We're going to go in a different direction this time, and we're going to go to JJ, then Charles, then Emmanuel. JJ, what do you think about this? Blake Monroe, her first chance, W superstar as a heel, first singles showcasing on a major NXT event. And Jordynne Grace, again, the jury is out whether or not she is main roster bound or she is going to continue down there a little longer to further redefine herself and maybe break Monroe's face. What do you think happens here?
Well, for starters, I got to thank Shawn Michaels for giving us this dynamic AEW versus TNA match.
All right.
Besides that, I got to go with Blake here. You know, Jordynne has been, and I'm not saying this to make you rant, please don't go off, but Jordynne has been a glorified jobber since coming to NXT proper.
Actually, I agree.
And now that there is a void on the main roster since Big Jim decided not to proceed with caution, I could see Jordynne getting slotted into that spot on the main roster. Because we all know out of everybody in NXT, she's the most ready. Her or Blake.
Fact. Absolute fact.
So I think Blake gets the dub here.
Yeah, it's one of those things also. Jordynne Grace is not only going in here with a calm demeanor, she's going in here with a bad freaking neck. Whatever Blake Monroe's calling her finisher now, that double underhook DDT. I do think
But is she really? There's so
out.
many injuries right now.
Right.
You know, and I know we'll get into this more when we do Forbidden Door, but you know, the ace Tanahashi limping down to the ring with jacked up knees, Ospreay with a bum neck, Jordynne with the bum neck, Swerve with a jacked up knee that he's been wrestling on since 2019 supposedly.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio had 51 knee surgeries.
But how many of these things are legitimate now that we saw Seth with his injury and then cashing in the briefcase?
Oh, I don't believe anything's legitimate anymore in wrestling. You kidding me? Everything's freaking work.
That's the thing, is like ever since that, you can't take an injury at face value anymore like you used to be able to.
Thanks, Seth, you dumbass. All right, well, let's go ahead and move away from that injury report talk. Stay tuned for more stuff on that on the Saturday Shenanigans. Thank you for that, JJ. Bottom line, though, I do think Britt Monroe's winning. If she doesn't win, her dream just became a nightmare. She'll be lucky to even sniff an NXT Women's Championship. Blake Monroe for the win. All right, Emmanuel, you're next. What do you think about this singles match? Do you think someone else gets involved on either woman's behalf? I mean, it honestly right now feels like Blake Monroe versus all of NXT. And honestly, justifiably so, damn it, considering what she did in AEW, just saying. But what do you think here?
Like, I get it. Like, Blake Monroe, like, you still signed her. You had her lose in that count out.
Oh, that's right. You're right. She did run out of the building against Kelani Jordynne in 5 minutes. But hey, still haven't been submitted. Continue.
I know. I know. Like, I was just trying to say, I want to give the benefit of the doubt. Jordynne Grace for the win. I mean, like, hear me out. Because, like,
I'm listening.
Because it's so predictable if Blake Monroe actually wins this, and then you keep burying Jordynne Grace. Eventually, you have to pull her over, because if you bring her up to the main roster, like JJ says, like, are you gonna take her seriously if you're like just a casual viewer? Like here comes Jordynne Grace that she never won a match. Like, in the pay-per-view, like in the PLE of NXT narrow God Championship in NXT, like a lot of these women like who get called up are either North American champion or NXT Woman Champion. So eventually, I feel like Jordynne needs to get a win over somebody well established. So in my logic, Jordynne Grace needs to win this or not. Why do you sign her? Why do you bring her in NXT just to pull over talent? Like why would TNA ever want to work with you if you keep burying the talent over and over and over? And why would any TNA talent go to WWE if they're gonna do the same thing? If they're gonna just eat the ball, like they need to eventually have faith of the TNA product and any knockout coming to the NXT. Hey, we're gonna use it properly. you like, and like, it might be hardships and the bumps and along the way, but eventually you gotta get over with the fans. So hopefully, with this victory, you take your Grace more seriously, and and hopefully, like I said, it's either Jerry Parker's the being NXT Women's Champion or Jordynne Grace eventually.
That's fair, actually. That's a justified argument. I actually respect that outlook. But also, that being said, this is Blake Monroe's second match in NXT. Just saying. All right. Well, third, actually. I'll give the count out. You know, he was with Kelani Jordynne for 5 minutes. So, yeah, I guess that was a bell match. So, yeah, I'll give to that. Anyway. Okay. Charles, you round this thing out. Blake Monroe, Jordynne Grace, one-on-one, first time ever. First one off, DQ, run up in the sunset, protect her face. Jordynne Grace obliterates her. Blake Monroe is reduced to nothing more but catering. Jordynne Grace, mid-card level, she loses, according to Emmanuel. It almost does feel like, with how soon this feels, they may have paired themselves in the corner, but they're risking 2 of their potential top next superstars here. Because again, people tend not to forget, internet's forever, even if it's fake. Anyway, what do you think happens in this match?
I agree with Joe. I agree with Emmanuel. Jordynne Grace wins this.
Oh, there you go. So 3 Blakes, 2 Grace. Interesting dynamic. I love the fact that this is the most polarizing match here. But again, it's just one of those things also thinking about, okay, we're in the fall season. Someone's got to be heading towards their deadline. And we probably could see Jordynne Grace and Blake Monroe both involved in that for the first time. And right now, the whole dynamic of the NXT Women's Championship is completely up in the air, considering who's holding it. And again, we'll talk more about her shortly. So it does feel a little bit muddled and not a clear direction. Then again, we're on the verge of WWE TNA, and TNA blended into NXT, and NXT already been blended around SmackDown, brand split LOL. Again, something about here, I feel bad for you, but hopefully you do get your championship chance. Anyway, what do you guys say real quick, Emmanuel?
Can you imagine this happened in the PLE? Mariah made another countdown. She walks away from Jordynne Grace so she doesn't get more beat up as she is. So she slowly walks away.
I mean, depends. Carol the heel tactics. I mean, been a while since we've seen a heel literally take countouts. And to Nathan's point, but I also look at it like this. Jordynne Grace has not had a major milestone yet. Those that lost their last match in NXT lost on the grander stage. They already made it to champion or championship level status of respect. The 2 most prolific women I think of, Bayley and Athena. So I do see what you're saying. If Jordynne Grace loses here, I don't see her going up to the main roster. If she wins here, then yeah, that rebuilds her confidence. But what do you do with Blake Monroe? I mean, it almost sounds like they have out for her if she loses here at this point. So again, this one's a coin toss, but I think Blake Monroe, she's the newer one versus the one with more star power and might be ready for the main roster, according to what y'all are saying. If you're going to build the future, you need to start from the beginning, not from the middle. So, Blake Monroe, that's my take. All right, good stuff. Well, we only got 2 matches left, so let's go ahead and talk about, let's see here, considering one's going to, well, these both probably are going to have cause and effect. Fudge it. Let's go ahead and talk about, because I just talked about women, we'll talk about men. Let's talk about the NXT Championship. The ruler getting bounced off his throne. Or is it highly unlikely in all likelihood? It's a first-time ever one-on-one matchup. Oba Femi, the virtually unstoppable Oba Femi, taking on Javon Evans. Straight up, we've already seen this match in the triple threat conditions. It literally was at the beginning of the year at New Year's Evil, where Trick Williams ate the pin and lost his NXT championship, and thus the reign of the ruler was born. Javon Evans, though, last year, you could thank him being caught in the pinfall after an inadvertent trick shot by Trick Williams that led to the era of ego beginning. Ain't that crazy? That was 1 year ago, and Ethan Page won the NXT championship. Just think about that. So again, this stage has not been good to the man that is bouncy, the young OG. Of course, like I said before, they had a number 1 contenders match this past Tuesday on NXT JJ. It was Trick Williams versus Javon Evans, and Mike Santana had the TNA World Champion in his crosshairs. Distraction tactic from the balcony, and Javon Evans capitalized, bouncing trick out of the NXT Championship picture. So here we are. So bottom line, is this going to be a holy S moment? And does Javon Evans become the new NXT champion? Or once again, as the ruler so eloquently puts it, the result remains the same. And I also want to put this in perspective. Like I said, Javon Evans already 8 lost with DarkState. Moose has his eyes on the NXT Championship and the TNA World Championship. Trick Williams needs to worry about Mike Santana, especially as we are on the road to Bound for Glory, which of course goes through Victory Road. And at this point, again, who is even on Obafemi's level for Pete freaking sick? I'm just saying. I'll go ahead and leave this thing off by saying Oba's winning. There is no way I see Obafemi losing this title right now. At the end of the day, you're talking about people losing, winning, what you do with them next. I know at one point people said that Obafemi, he's going to be main roster bound. Guys, what the fuck are they going to do with him? Go against the Vision and Seth freaking Rollins or put him up against Cody Rhodes? There's not like no real rhyme or reason right now, unless it's like an open challenge to fit him into either of those dynamics. And it feels like right now, this is his yard. Mark Galloway approved. Obafemi's been defending your NXT since he arrived out of the breakout tourney and bounced Dragon Lee out of the NXT North American Championship picture. And he hasn't been pinned or submitted yet this freaking year since being NXT champion. So it's one of those things that, like Miles Bourne, Javon Evans is going to get a huge chance to show what he can do finally one-on-one when it matters the most. And while Leon Slater beat one of the standards when it comes to the face of the franchise at Slammiversary, I don't see the same thing happening here with Javon Evans in his first ever one-on-one NXT Championship match. I can't go against the ruler. This is almost as commonplace for me now as Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair on the main roster of WWE. Sorry, JJ. So I'm going with Obafemi, simply put, retaining. Now, who goes after him next? Joe Hendry, freaking Trick Williams, freaking Moose, the Jasper Troy again. The who frick knows. But I got Obafemi winning. All right, well, let's go ahead and get y'all's thoughts towards this. And this match will go ahead and go this time counterclockwise. So, Charles, you're on point next. Who you got leading into the NXT Championship? Obafemi or Javon Evans?
Well, I agree with your points, and you know what? Yeah, you know what? Time makes a let's go crazy. Javon's win the title.
What the fuck? All right, and there's
My attitude I had on everything for that. There you go.
Well, I respect the take, and I respect your honesty. I respect you changing the dynamic. Shout out to the Canadian Connection. The other half, we talk about Ash, of course, Nicholas Ferrantes, who's been a great partner in commentary, and of course, also part of the Shenanigans. Appreciate you, and God bless you. Christopher Roth's also good to see you, and he's saying they has Oba retaining. Chris, they're doing with the forum. Get some rest, bro. I know you got work, but always appreciate you being part of the fun. Cheers, bro. All right, well, already 1-1. The hell? Well, this should be fun. Let's go literally just up and down and see how we go all around. JJ, you're up next. What do you think? You're a ruler, the unstoppable ruler of NXT. Javon bouncing him out of the NXT Championship picture? Or does Obafemi bounce Javon more than a basketball in Lowell, Massachusetts? Who you got leave with the gold?
As much as I appreciate you coming to me next, I would like to yield to the lady to go next.
Interesting thought. Maybe this is because she, I don't know, thinks that she knows every prediction. Let's find out. Arlene, you're on the bubble, courtesy of JJ. What do you think about this NXT Championship match and Javon Evans' chances?
Listen, Noah. Listen, Noah. Someone's losing this title. And as much as I want Jacy Jayne to do it, that's not WWE. So who's losing the title? I think Oba's going to lose the title. I'm going with Javon Evans. Why? Because everybody, the case in point, what Charles said and what my brother said. If they're so set on Jordynne Grace being called up to SmackDown, Oba's ready for the main roster. Let's be honest. He has nothing left to prove in NXT. So if they're going to be calling up people, this is the opportunity. I think Javon Evans, I said it when Stand and Deliver, even though I knew he wasn't going to win, but I went for him, because I believed. But I think they're going to give it to Javon Evans. He's very impressive. I think he'll do wonders with that title. He's he'll probably. Who was the youngest NXT champion? Do you
Oh
know?
Lord. I would
Get
not
back.
have a damn clue where to begin.
Well, if he's the youngest one, then I mean,
Let's see here.
he deserves it. My brother's looking it up, but I mean, if he's the one like to win it, he'll probably be the youngest, and they're all about breaking those records. And like I said, I do not see
Bull Dallas.
Bo
22.
Dallas.
Oh
Okay.
God, that's right. I totally forgot about Bull
Okay.
Dallas.
How old was Bo Dallas?
22.
22.
22. How old is Javon?
Javon was beat it.
Yeah,
What
he's
do you-
20, I
Okay.
believe, isn't he?
Yeah, so I mean, I could see them going that way. And like I said, as much as I want Jacy Jayne to lose it because she doesn't deserve it, she doesn't deserve to have those 2 titles. I really want WWE to give TNA this opportunity, just like they give Trick Williams and Jacy Jayne the opportunity to win these titles on a TNA event.
Trick Williams is
They
questionable.
should do the same for TNA and let either Ash by Elegance, which she's not gonna win it, or Masha to regain the championship. But that's not gonna happen. We know it's not gonna happen because it's not in WWE's nature. Yeah, they'll send their superstars, but I don't see them giving them that back to them. Just like TNA gave it to them, I don't think WWE is gonna give it to them. So this is why, and I do feel like I said, like one of the main titles is going to switch hands, and I think it's going to be this one. And I think Javon Evans is going to win and become the youngest.
Leave it to you to try and turn Heatwave into NXT SummerSlam. Okay, fair enough. Bold take by you, and Bat Dumb is supported by Charles. 2 for Javon Evans. By the way, he's Javon Evans. By the way, is actually 21. So yes, he would actually be the youngest NXT champion in NXT history if he was to win. But that being said, since JJ yield budget from one dimension to another, let's see if they agree. Emmanuel Obafemi again, unstoppable ruler. He will be going into his 9th title defense. He has held this title now for 227 days. Javon Evans has yet to hold a championship. He's challenged for the North American title. 1 year ago, he challenged for the NXT championship. Fatal 4-way action. He's already been endorsed as a future by the Viper, Randy Orton. So is it Javon's time, or is it Javon's chance to shine in what might be the main event? Jury is out. One-on-one against the measuring stick of NXT. Let's be honest. This is the reason why Mark Coway says, protect your yard. This is Obafemi's yard. You're going to take this from him. You're going to do it for a broken body and surviving a fall from grace. And I can only imagine the fall that Javon can have bouncing off the mat. Emmanuel, what do you think?
But it wasn't it The Undertaker who also told Javon, like, what's next for his list? To take the strongest dog in the yard and show and prove to him that you're the top guy. So, by logic,
Let's reach her out.
yeah, by logic, it's like Javon needs to win this, in my opinion, too. Like, I agree with my sister. Like, all of us ready to go to the main roster. Like, can you imagine this, Noah? You know how? I know we're not talking about main roster, but what a way to debut a Obafemi if he actually not only destroy a Braun Breaker in WrestleMania, not only destroy Bronson Reed in the WrestleMania. Imagine him winning the world title against Seth Rollins. I know I'm like WWE is not this predictable, but I'm just saying, what if? What if? ...
You're putting a lot of trust in WWE creative. You realize what you're
Yeah,
talking about, right?
exactly. Like, which is not going to happen because I know WWE creative. It's not going to happen. But if WWE is smart enough and creative, WWE creative as well, they can see it. Trust this guy. He's going to send you to the next level. And
All
I
right.
can't wait for the time when we see Oba Femi versus Gunther.
Okay,
And
I'll admit that intrigues me. I'll admit that intrigues me. But again, the jury is out on WWE actually being clever with creative when they combine all three shows to almost be the same as a monopoly. Just 3 cards and just charge them double. Oh, well, they're doing that now. Anyway, not going there. Not going there. Not yet. Stay tuned for the shenanigans, folks. I'm in a mood. That being said, okay. Wow. I cannot believe so far I've been the only fucking one that said Oba Femi. Well, the best for last. JJ, bring it home. What do you think? I mean, it does seem justified. We talk about that people don't need long title runs, but is Javon the guy to lead NXT? Is he ready for that spot? But also, it's his first. You do it during his first one-on-one. It's his first showcase, one-on-one. This is the biggest match of his young career. And we've seen Oba Femi give that nod of respect to those that have challenged him one-on-one, including your favorite, Arlene, Yoshi. So, again, the jury is out. And, again, we still don't know when deadline will be official, if we'll have No Mercy, and how it will read during Halloween. But anyway, what do you think?
See, those are my $1 million questions, is do we get another NXT PLE between this and Halloween Havoc?
Exactly.
Because I tend to agree with what everyone else was saying here. I'm tending to think that it's Javon's time because I don't think Jacy's losing the title. I know that sours you. Now that WWE has their hands in the TNA cookie jar, and keep in mind, I said at the outset, I haven't watched the weekly for pretty much any show. But I could see it being Jacy versus Indy at Bound for Glory. And then putting the Knockouts title onto Indy, who had to vacate the NXT championship.
You might actually be honest something. I'll talk more about that during our main event. Please continue.
The thing that really keeps Javon in the front of my head here is DarkState. Is there still a leader to be revealed behind DarkState?
You've been lobbying for that idea and that reveal for the longest time I can remember.
Which is why I'm wondering, because like if there's no leader to be revealed, then fine, I'm okay with that. But you asked when we talked about the DarkState match, that they never really came out with their mission statement.
Right.
Multiple people on the panel said that their game was to take over NXT.
Right.
So if they win the tag titles and then help Javon win the world title, they've got everything now except the North American title in their faction.
Oh, geez, you're making me think. And who has been on the bitter end of more pinfalls against DarkState as of late? Oh, geez. You got me
and
thinking,
has
JJ.
that all been a setup?
Oh, joy.
Because when DarkState first debuted, there were 2 people that were heavily rumored to be thought of as the leader. Javon and Trick. Trick was a babyface at that point.
Yeah.
He hadn't made the full heel turn yet. But Trick has also done well enough on his own to where at this point he doesn't need them.
Yeah,
he won the TNA world title without them. Javon has never had that one-on-one match. He's only had fatal 4-ways and triple threats. So what better way to solidify that he gets the title in his first one-on-one match and, to Emmanuel's point, becomes the youngest NXT champion in history? Arlene's point, excuse me.
That's still Dominguez, so I won't botch you.
I see her down there like cheesy, like, hey, that was my idea, fucker. So I'm sorry if I'm making you reconsider. I'm sorry if I'm making you have doubts and hesitation. But I'm going with Mr. Bouncy because throw that graphic up there again. He doesn't look like our typical happy-go-lucky bouncy boy.
He looks serious, and you need to be against Oba to be fair.
He
But
looks
still.
like a guy who's got plans going through his mind that's calculating.
Shit. I probably should have saved this for the closer. Charles, I saw your hand, and I'll acknowledge you, Arlene. Charles, what you got to say real quick? Also, damn you.
JJ, why? Do you ever? You can write a space in my brain because I was thinking that as well. Why?
Look, the whole DarkState leader thing is something both Walter and I have been talking about for a while, and both of us joke that we share a brain. So
freaking Nostradamus in this freaking chat.
Like, come on. Yeah.
Damn it! God, you gotta have some opposition to Oba Femi, clearly, and he's already beating everybody across freaking NXT and TNA. So I do get what you're saying, and at this point, he's not even heel, he's not even face, he's tweener, he's the ruler. He could be the biggest babyface in NXT if he were to go against DarkState and be the one to summon the dark permanently and bring back NXT to light. In order to do that, you gotta make him look vulnerable.
And then, because you know me and my long-term storytelling.
Yes, I do.
So before he can get back to Javon, he's got to run through each member of the DarkState.
Yep.
To get back to the title.
DarkState
that should fill in enough TV time between the NXT after Heatwave and Halloween Havoc. And then he loses again. And then you know how you debut him on the main roster? December 13th, Saturday night's main event. John Cena issues an open challenge for his final match. I have beaten everybody in this company. Who dares to step to me in my final match? Oba Femi. What is it about you that makes you think you can beat me? What were the two words he uttered to Kurt Angle, Noah?
Ruthless aggression.
Boom. And look me, I'm going to give you a close-up. Tell me Oba don't have it. Tell me Oba doesn't have the ruthless aggression to make that come full circle.
He has it. He has it. But does WWE smart enough to see it and book it? Highly unlikely in all likelihood.
But we know they watch our products. So it's not beyond them to steal shit. I'm looking at you, Paul Levesque.
Fair enough. Arlene, you had a thought. Go ahead. Close this thing out. What else do you need to say before we move into what I thought would be the main event? But I think we just justified what this should be now. Go ahead.
I was going to say two points. Back to JJ and Javon being the leader. It makes sense because where were all these four people in NXT? They were nobody. They were being paid attention to. They were basically nobody. What was Javon Evans when he first came out? He wasn't taken seriously. They're like, oh, you're just another wrestler. After a while, it's like these four people came together and like, no, we're going to show you that we are here for a reason. Who's the one that got pushed aside more often than not? I'm like, you shouldn't even be here, Javon Evans. So it makes sense. So I'm with JJ like that. If he ends up being the one in charge, it makes sense because he was one of the ones that they kept pushing aside and said, no, dude, you're young. And he has all these wrestlers behind him and stuff. So there's that. And JJ had me. I'm like, okay, December, John Cena issuing a challenge. But what does John Cena like to do? He likes to give an up-and-comer a chance to glorify. I agree, it could be Oba, but then you also have Javon Evans. That could, yes. Imagine him as an NXT champion challenging John Cena to a match and beating John Cena.
Been there, done that, Kevin Owens.
I know, but I'm just saying, who John? I'm just saying, like it can happen.
I
WWE.
could see something like that. The only reason I don't see Javon doing it is because he doesn't have the ruthless aggression that Oba does.
No.
And that's
That
what
is
makes
true.
it a full circle moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, don't be
And
surprised.
and Oba is main roster ready. Javon still isn't.
That's true, but you never know. Like
Because
they like to give
the
up and
other
comers.
thing, I hear you, because the other thing I could see, and this goes into fantasy booking the main roster, which we're not here for.
No.
But I still could see Cena picking up the IC title before he retires to get his Grand Slam.
Man, Sheamus been more cheated out of that title than John Cena.
And
Sheamus
Oba would be the one to take it off him. So not only would he debut, not only would he beat Cena in his final match, he'd become the Intercontinental Champion as well, which is very befitting of someone of Oba's stature.
Yeah, I suppose so. Definitely a workhorse. I mean, again, he's beating everybody, including the LFG graduate. Then again, Javon Evans fucked me out of a point of Great American Bash when he beat that jabroni, Jasper Troy, at the Great American Bash. The fuck? Anyway, that's a different conversation. That screwed me hard.
Yeah.
All right.
Same here.
It screwed everybody hard. A lot of people had freaking Jasper Troy. He was already made jobber that night. All right. Anyway. No. It's
Sorry,
Heatwave.
Noah.
Change it.
Heatwave.
Change it.
Heatwave is not.
Change it.
No. Heatwave
Yes.
is not a serious show. It is a summer filler. It is not that serious. It will not be that serious. No.
But the title changed hands last year.
Yeah, it did.
He's got
Could
you
history
there.
repeat itself?
Did a fatal four-way though, and it was in Canada, and Ethan Page was just there the first time. No,
So?
I'm not changing. I'm not. I'm sticking
Okay.
to with Femi. I'm staying with the ruler. The ruler remains the same spot. The history, the result remains the same. Femi wins. I'm not changing. You're
Don't
not
cry when
changing.
he loses. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Arlene.
It's going to be a long Sunday night for me, but at least I'll be starting off on the positive note. All right. Well, a lot of interesting conversation, some what if fantasy booking action. Let's go ahead and get right into what I should have made the semi-main after that crazy nonsense. Then again, why this might change NXT, this might change NXT and TNA as we know it. Let's go ahead and talk about what might be the main event, because you pretty much have these three right here ruling the NXT and the TNA women's landscapes. As Masha Slamovich so elegantly put it, it's Emo Katy Perry and Team with Britney Spears taking on Masha Slamovich for the TNA Knockouts World Championship at Heatwave. Triple threat action. Again, Jacy Jayne, not my champion. But Jacy Jayne did get the rolling encore and, of course, able to procure the Knockouts Championship. Damn crime against the Knockouts division at Slammiversary. And since then, we've seen her defend the TNA Knockouts World Championship against both Masha Slamovich and Airhead in singles matches, of course, ending in continuous cluster fuckery involvement by the Ignorance brand and Masha's Rage. I'm surprised Masha hasn't ripped her Barbie head off yet. But also, as much as I hate to say it, this past Tuesday on NXT, Masha Slamovich was a special guest referee, and guess what? The Elegance brand beat Fatal Influence. The fuck? That being said, Ash right now is hell-bent on becoming the face of the Knockouts division. Lord help me and my blood pressure. Why Masha Slamovich looks to smash both these freaking idiots into the ground and restore the cornerstone back home to TNA. Okay, I feel like we're all going to be unanimous here based on what we just talked about. Part of me wants to have hope. Part of me wants to believe. But I will give you foresight. Here's an Impact Wrestling spoiler for you. Tonight, during the TNA Knockouts Gauntlet match, it came down to Indy Hartwell, Danny Luna, Jody Fret. And due to Danny Luna turning on Indy Hartwell and inadvertently hitting Jody Fret in what turned into a one-on-one type of kerfuffle, there was some sort of DQ squads, and somehow Jody Fret got the win. But Danny Luna said, "I did it for you, Jody," and started attacking Indy Hartwell after the match to the point she was about to use a steel chair. It was Jody Fret that came to Indy Hartwell's aid as Danny Luna stormed up and said, "I did this for you, and you haven't earned enough of what you deserve yet." She didn't mention who that was towards, though. Backstage with the Retro Authority, Santino Marella, that son of a gun. Jody Fred confronts Santino and says, I don't deserve that. I don't want to win like that. It should be Indy. Give it to her. Dan Lewis like, no, screw that shit. You earned that. You deserve this. So it sounds like we might get a contractable No More Contenders match with Indy Hartwell and Jody Fred to see who challenges Jacy Jayne for the TNA Knockouts World Championship, date and place to be determined. Remember, we got Victory Road before Bound for Glory. Just keep that in mind. And it wouldn't surprise me with the formula of the year. The match of the year is Triple Threat. As Triple Threat has been the formula now lately for everywhere, it seems. The fuck? Get some more originality. But that being
Especially
said,
when it comes to women's matches.
what the fuck? Anyway, that being said, Sunday night is about the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Timu Katy Perry versus Timu Britney Spears, or excuse me, Emo Katy Perry versus Timu Britney Spears, and Masha Slamovich. All right, so straight up, we know who's winning, unfortunately. But what does this lead to? And does this remove Ash and Masha completely from the TNA Knockouts World Championship picture for the foreseeable future? Let's go ahead and look at the outlook on the TNA Knockouts World Championship and obviously the fatal influence that they have right now over both NXT and TNA, knowing no matter what, the NXT Women's Championship will have a new number contender following this. And you almost wonder if they give a damn if she has both those titles or just one of them. All right, so straight up, let's not talk about decision here. Let's just get right into the thick of this. What the fuck this means for insert NXT PLE here, Victory Road, and Bound for Glory for TNA. Is TNA still what I remember to be a TNA faithful, or is it becoming a shill what it once was? JJ, let's start with you on this. Give your thoughts towards this. Jacy Jayne leads the title, blah, blah, blah. What else do you guys say?
Okay, so I'm going to briefly talk about this, then I'm going to go to what you talked about for TNA.
Go for it.
You can automatically take Masha out of the picture. I know how much you hate that, how much it must pain you to hear me come up with that right out the gate. But if Masha was going to win, she would still be champion.
I know.
So Masha, you can take right out the picture. So that means either Jacy retains or Ash becomes a double champion, which I think makes your blood boil even more than me saying you can take Masha out of it right out the gate.
Do you want me to rant or do you want me to quit?
No, I'm just being honest, and I want you to be honest with yourself. If Masha was going to win, she would still be champion. So either Jacy's going to retain or Ash is getting it. I need you to be honest with yourself. As far as what you were talking about, unless the number one contendership match happens at Victory Road, it would make more sense for Jody to get the title match at Victory Road. That way, in the interim, Danny and Indy can have a little mini feud to then get Indy to the title at Bound for Glory.
Correct.
And Jody can just be a filler opponent for Jacy at Victory Road for her to defeat. Again, it sucks to talk about Jody like that, but you also know out of Jody and Danny, I prefer to Danny. So, but to the point that I brought up earlier, with Indy having had to surrender the title when she got called up to the main roster after being injured and never being defeated for it, I could see WWE talking to Carlos Silva and having him put the Knockouts title onto Indy to get it off of Jacy. That way it's still technically one of their people, even though it's a contracted TNA star. But I think at the end of the day, this is going to be the one match we all agree on. So in the effort to save time, we can just do show of hands. Jacy's retaining.
Yeah, Jacy Jayne saying that these locker rooms...
Emmanuel already's got his hand up, and then, wow, okay, so it's not going to be unanimous.
I don't know if they're actually being serious or they actually just want to hear themselves speak. But that being said...
we're just raising our hand to be unanimous.
Oh, okay. I hadn't even asked yet. What I was gonna say, is there anybody that doesn't think Jacy is gonna win? Okay. So now it just comes to, does anybody have an additional point they want to make to the match? And I apologize if it sounds like I'm hijacking this, but I'm sure you also want to get to bed. It's midnight. You got work tomorrow. So
you're damn fucking right. And at the end of the day, talking about locker room mediocrity, shut the fuck up. And also how no single woman can beat me. I've already had enough of this fatal influence on my TNA, damn it. Just saying. Especially when it's not Fallon Henry at the forefront. And now Fallon Henry and Jasmine Niggs might take on the inspiration as fatal influence believes they're the strongest women's tag team and faction across TNA and NXT and want the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And unfortunately, Fatal Influence does have a fucking tag team win, trios win, over freaking the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships that are still that Elegance Ignorance brand. So a lot of stuff right now is pissing me off. That being said, yeah, whatever. Jacy Jayne retains. All right, so anyone got a brief point to make before we conclude this shebang? Because I am tired as fuck.
I do have a slight announcement. It has just been brought to my attention via a different group chat that we will actually have an on-the-ground correspondent for All Out, as our good buddy Nick Ferrantes will be there with his wife.
Oh, nice. I hope that
Nice.
you have a wonderful time. Good deal. Good on them.
So he has volunteered to be an on-ground correspondent for us while he is there.
Nice. Appreciate that. Okay, Arlene, I see your hand. What do you got to say real quick before we end this thing?
Basically, I just want to reiterate what I said prior, that I don't see Jacy Jayne losing, even though a TNA superstar should be winning this. They're not going to do that. Why? I don't know. Why does TNA keep letting WWE do this to them? And a WWE live event? Who knows?
Oh, God forbid a WWE superstar loses to TNA.
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly why they're doing it, Arlene. The longer that an NXT person has a TNA title, the more there's going to be the crossover. You've got to look at it from the business perspective. TNA is shopping around for a distribution deal, a streaming deal, a media rights deal, so that they can get onto a better channel. An NXT superstar holding their world and women's championships is more visibility because they're being seen on the CW by more people than watch the show on Access.
Yeah.
That just makes it look better to the companies as they try to shop it around. I know you don't like it. I know you bleh at these things, Noah. It's all business.
Fuck business.
That's why they're going to wait until Bound for Glory, because you can get those superstars on the CW showcasing the title until the biggest pay-per-view of the year for TNA. They're all in. They're WrestleMania. And then because you've built up the interest on CW, that'll transition into views for Bound for Glory, ticket sales for Bound for Glory, which is good optics for TNA. It's exactly why they're doing it. Don't have to like it, but that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, I know. I just, out of all the NXT superstars they could have put the title on, I don't like Jacy Jayne. I think there's other more deserving people on that roster. But that's
as a fan of Jacy, I will agree with you.
That's a story for another day. It
should have been Fallon, or at the very least, it should have been Kelani.
Yes, I agree. That's another grudge. The person that's holding the title. I don't think it should be her to hold it. And to counter JJ's point, there's a reason why Indy, Ash by Elegance, and all these people that used to work in WWE were let go because they didn't see them in the main roster setting. They just didn't see potential. So this is why I don't think someone from WWE that now is employed under TNA is going to hold the titles. I think it has to be someone from TNA. It has to be, because I don't think WWE. Then what was the whole point? This is my logic. Then what was the whole point of letting Indy go if you're just going to give her an NXT title?
What was the point of letting Dolph Ziggler go if Nick Nemeth was going to become the TNA World Champion?
But I mean, that's TNA.
What was the point of letting Dean Ambrose go if he wasn't going to become the AEW World Champion?
But see, that's what I'm saying though. Like you wouldn't give Dolph Ziggler a WWE title now that he's in TNA. That's my point. I'm not saying that when you
That's-
go to a different one, you're not going to get a title. I'm just saying that
Were
these
the
people,
Nemets not tag champions since the partnership?
but they're TNA. You're just seeing my point.
No, but they were ex-WWE is what I'm saying. Indy Hartwell is
Yes,
an
but this is
ex-WWE
TNA.
that is a TNA
Yes,
contracted
but
star.
I'm talking about WWE. WWE is not going to let someone from TNA that
Yeah, they
used to
will.
work WWE
Yes, they will.
as a champion.
Yes,
They're
they
not.
will. Ash is a champion right now.
But she's
The
TNA.
Hardys are
You're
champions,
missing
right?
the point, JJ. She's TNA.
No,
Arlene,
you're
Arlene,
missing my point. They are ex-WWE superstars
That's not my
that are
point
now
I'm trying to make,
champions in
JJ.
TNA.
That's
Indy
not
is
the
an
point I'm trying to bring up,
ex-WWE
though.
superstar.
That's not the point I'm trying to make, though.
Arlene,
I'm trying to say what, Manuel?
Then your
Like-
wording is off then, because
Yeah, it's
it
off.
sounds like that's exactly what you're
No,
saying.
what I'm saying is they're now TNA superstars, right?
Right. So why can't
There's
Indy
a
win the
reason
Knockouts
why they were
title?
let go from WWE. Why are you going to put a title on a TNA superstar that used to work in WWE? Then what was the whole point of letting them go? You just made them a champ in TNA or WWE. That's what I'm trying to say.
Who the fuck cares? WWE, TNA, NXT, they're all the same damn fucking thing. It's just
I'm
sign
not-
on the dotted line.
I'm not championing for them to become a WWE champion.
That is what I'm trying to say, though. I'm trying to say that WWE let these people go for a reason.
right.
They're not going to
Budget
let
cut.
this person from NXT that no longer works for them become something from WWE. That is my point.
Okay,
good
but
deal.
we're
Okay.
not talking about the WWE championship or the
Oh.
NXT
But that's
championship.
what I'm
We're
saying.
talking
'cause
about the
there's-
TNA title.
No,
TNA
I
title.
know. This is what Noah said, that he thinks Indy is going to win the NXT championship.
No,
Isn't
the
it?
TNA
No?
title,
TNA title.
the
But yet-
Knockouts title.
botch.
Okay, but this is my point, that you're not, that someone from TNA is not going to hold an NXT title. That was
No.
my point.
No.
I still think that will happen, but we've got
Eventually.
plenty of time in the
That was my
partnership.
point in all this.
What
That
what
someone from
we were
TNA that used
saying,
to work in WWE is not going to hold a WWE title.
Okay, so
Because
someone in
then
TNA
what
is
was-
not going to hold an NXT championship. Okay, we get it. That's been the
But
history.
that's
That's what
what
we've been wanting to
Jason
see
was
since
trying
the
to-
partnership started. Okay, we get it. No one in TNA is going to hold an NXT championship. And no one gives a fuck right now because the three time players have made the same fucking thing.
easy, Noah, Jesus.
Breathe, Noah. Breathe. Breathe.
Stop.
I can see one person holding the TNA, like the NXT Women's title, Ash by Elegance.
I could see the Hardy Boys winning the NXT tag titles.
Yeah, well, only time will tell.
I agree with
what Miles
JJ.
Silver and Shawn Michaels want to do. Charles, you had your hand up for a fart real quick. Jesus Christ almighty.
First of all, oh, this is going crazy, but please breathe, Noah. For his sake. And two, I agree with JJ's points. A lot of it. I expect Indy to win the knockout title at Bound for Glory.
Well, time will tell. We're not there yet. We'll simply predict that in October. Bottom line, we're dealing with NXT and TNA, and it's two TNA talents trying to get the TNA Championship and NXT show. Does it happen this Sunday? Highly unlikely in all likelihood. Could a TNA superstar win an NXT Championship? 99% says no. 1% says yes if you're optimistic. But we've already seen an NXT fucking superstar abscond with TNA championships twice. The cornerstones of TNA. That's bullshit. When you're nothing but a Black Snow cosplayer and someone trying to be the next Mandy Rose.
Breathe,
What do you
Noah.
got to say, Emmanuel?
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah, you should rename that Jacy Jayne to Mandy Rose 2.0, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, like I agree with you, Noah. Like, it's like I don't know what we're doing here. Like with TNA, with the I hope TNA actually wants the title. Their Tyra's back in the NXT pay-per-view. To be honest, and all frank, but I could see Bound for Glory. Don't get me wrong, but that's my insight. Like, hopefully TNA will get the title back in the more higher PLE that's WWE product to have them have their moment, and then TNA. But that's my opinion.
All right, fair enough. All I know is we're on the verge of another monopoly, and it's WWE owning Boardwalk in Park Place named NXT and fucking TNA. Thank you, Arlene, for your thoughts, and JJ, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Beginning. So what are your thoughts on NXT TNA relationship before it becomes WWE TNA? Do you believe that a TNA superstar will win back a TNA championship on an NXT show, or do you believe a TNA superstar will win an NXT championship? Or will the TNA championships be brought back home to TNA on a TNA show? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. I thank you all for tuning in, demonstrating your passion, your debating, your overall analysis, your thoughts and discussions, both here on the chat and on screen. Let's go ahead and bid everybody a fine adieu before we finally GTS and I can finally go and rest my blood pressure because it probably did go up a few points. And I appreciate all you for making that happen because it's not often that I bring that passion out here when it comes to something that pisses me the fuck off. But that being said, no one does it better, whether it's karaoke or predictions, than the Dominguez sister says. Don't you tranquilo me right now. But why don't you go ahead and tell them where they can find you, Arlene and Emmanuel. You can both speak at the same time if you want, or someone can speak on the other's behalf. I don't give a damn. Appreciate both of you.
Yeah, you can follow me at Emmanuel Dominguez EDM 7324 at Instagram.
Hey, very good. And Arlene?
You can follow me on Arlene Dominguez on Instagram, Twitter, DM73244. And like I said at the beginning, JJ missed it. If Mark and Ashley want to join and become our own DarkState, we could dominate first place so we can all tie to be in first place, a three-way tie, please message me on Instagram. I will be forever thankful. Thank you.
Arlene, you've already opened up a huge fire with Jaida that I had to extinguish. Slow down while you're ahead. Keyword literally while you're ahead. For now. Well, again, it would not be the Civilized Studios without the Dominguez now and forever. God bless both of them and their family. Charles, appreciate you as always joining Super Denting. You now know the absolute insanity I moderate on not just a weekly, what, not just a monthly, what, not just a bi-weekly, what, but a friggin' pro wrestling pay-per-view level basis. I'm sure you'll be back here again being part of the madness, if not adding to it. Thank you, by the way, for not adding to it tonight. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were entertained. Go ahead and tell where the people can find you.
First of all, you can find me now on Dudok Randall on Twitter, of course. And also, tranquilo, Noah, please. Just tranquilo. That's all we say. That's all we ask. We don't need you to go completely insane. Please.
Trust me, I'm on the verge of doing that far before this shit happened. Trust me.
Bad enough.
All right, fair enough. JJ, once again, it's going to be a fun weekend. We got wrestling and we got shenanigans. Special shenanigans, of course.
Yes.
I always appreciate you being part of the Super Predicting here, as always. Appreciate your takes, long-term storytelling. But go ahead and tell the people can find and connect with you. And just for tonight,
you can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, YouTube Casa D18 Studios, XROW JJ Williams, or Casa D18 Studio. Casa D18 Studio on X is where you'll find me hosting and participating in the spaces. As Noah said, we have a bunch of stuff in store this weekend. GCW Homecoming Watch-Alongs on both Saturday and Sunday. AEW Forbidden Door, NXT Heatwave both on Sunday. And then Saturday Shenanigans moderated by the Simple Man Noah Foster.
okay.
As it is my birthday, so I definitely deserve the night off for that. Plus, 1 year ago, last Sunday, was the first episode of the Shenanigans under the rebrand.
Well, look at that. Freaking, we evolved, and it's been 1 year already, and somehow we lived to tell the tale. We beat extinction. So thank you for that.
So,
Jay.
considering you're always the person that does the special occasions, it's only fitting that you do that one as well. So,
I guess it's the new 1 year anniversary.
double reasons.
Fair enough. You're doubling down with the Simple Man here, enduring the madness and bringing it back full circle. Otherwise, he's going to add into it and reach his freaking fire.
And just so you know, for the foreseeable future, I will be working on Saturdays, so you will at least have to be holding down the first hour until I get off on a consistent basis.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna be managing ass clowns to the end of time. All
Well,
right.
that would be something. So
Something.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Points for my own petard.
It's always fun when we can hit Noah with his own shtick. What's up, Emmanuel?
What do you gotta say?
And August 23rd, Arlene's birthday. So I want to shout out a special happy birthday to my sister in the Shenanigans. Pay $25 for Noah to sing happy birthday to her. That'd be an awesome thing to do.
Do it. Someone do it.
We will definitely try to make sure that happens, Emmanuel.
Sorry, not sorry, Noah.
Oh, the things I do for friends and I endure and somehow.
Well, happy early birthday, Arlene.
Yeah,
Since I don't know if
Indeed.
you'll be in the chat room on Saturday.
Yeah, about to say.
It's
and
actually on Saturday. It's on the 23rd.
Saturday.
And mine is the 22nd. So
Yeah, exactly. Said the 22nd. Well, on behalf of the East Coast, everybody that's the East Coast, happy birthday, JJ.
thank
God
you.
bless
Jason.
Happy birthday, JJ.
Birthday, JJ.
We love you, brother. Appreciate you always and want nothing but the best for you and your family. Here's to another year of you raging and also bringing the magic and the positive spirit that only you can with your fantasy booking and your character in our shenanigans, predictions, no DQ with your family and friends.
But where can we find you, Noah?
If people wish to find me and see me rage of one of many memes that JJ also loves to create, you dickhead, find me at Imposter1916 on the X and on YouTube in my simple studio, where of course I moderate Sleepy Predicting. I help moderate Saturday Shenanigans, and I also of course do so many other things now, including monthly simple sessions. Who knows who I'm going to talk with next for about an hour, just about absolutely anything. Cover pretty much all things wrestling as play-by-play for the major companies and New Japan Pro Wrestling and Japanese Wrestling, as well as bring you the analysis post-show with post-mortem predictions, thoughts with Big Papa Dino. So again, and so much more. Stay tuned for more of that as always through my simple YouTube channel, The Simmons Brand, and Foster 1916, the X on YouTube. And again, stay tuned for the forum for both Heatwave and Forbidden Door on my social medias. They both will be out tomorrow. Heatwave out in the morning. Forbidden Door will be out at night. And Forbidden Door Sleepy Predicting will be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday afternoon. What the hell am I putting myself through? So stay tuned for more on that. As JJ alluded to, I will be covering with Walter Cruz both Forbidden Door and Heatwave back to back and all day Sunday starting 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when I come home from church, if I'm not already tired. So again, and the Sleepy Day is not landing anytime soon. We got Clash in Paris, Death Before Dishonor, AEW All Out, Victory Road, Wrestle Dream, just to name the next few that are coming up. And that's all I got to say for now is I'm going to finally put this crazy train to rest the station and conclude by reminding you there are no winners, no losers, no betters. Just fans, no opinions with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too. Treasure your families. No matter how much they piss you off, somebody has to be the parent of the freaking fathers. And
support Chase U.
Yes,
no,
believe it, Chase U.
no, and just alive.
JJ, you need to put the new picture of Chase U. Those people that you have no longer in Chase U.
He got it. He's a
I don't want to
alumni.
hear it from you, Missy.
He's a freaking alumni.
JJ's good where he is. He's good where it is.
He's a freaking alumni, so of course he's going to support the alumni class, Arlene. Let's call it what it is. I'll have the class reunion 15 years from now.
Thank you.
Anyway, yeah, you're welcome. That's about the only positive review I'll give you, your Chase University, ever. Anyway, again, folks, as I said, it's truly as simple as that. But with that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in for another edition of Sleepy Predicting. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. And of course, he wasn't here. Can't say it enough. Subscribe to Sleepy Studios friends, BattyForWrestling, our Canadian friend Ash, and more importantly, subscribe to Walter Cruz. Subscribe to the Rage of Wrestling. Again, he'll be with me on Sunday on the call. And we will see you Saturday, if not beforehand, for more madness here throughout the Super Labo Studios too. So in typical fashion, I'm going to bid you all now a fine adieu. Let's get the fuck out of here in British Game Show farewells. So on behalf of the birthday boy, courtesy of the East Coast, the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams, happy birthday and say goodbye.
Farewell.
for Emmanuel Dominguez and John Cena's biggest fan. Say goodbye.
No, I'm not a space fan. But anyways, happy birthday, JJ.
All right.
Bye-bye.
For the most polarizing NXT leader in NXT predictions history that brings her takes and makes sure her point is said. And that's not an insult. That's just a fact of life until I talk to her and I freaking bring the debate down to a freaking zero notch. But I wouldn't want her any other way, despite the fact she had suspensions of my day on karaoke nights always. You freaking goober. But as long as you're entertained, I must be doing something right. Appreciate you always. Say goodbye.
Adios, buenas noches, feliz cumpleaños, JJ.
Thank you.
Muy bien. And for Charles Jones, the latest member to be part of the City Predicting on-screen community that endured the madness that I endure on a wrestling pay-per-view basis. And I'm sure it won't be his last time that he's here. Charles, say goodbye.
And happy birthday, JJ.
Thank you. Thank you.
And there we go. And if the chat hasn't done it already, I will say it one more time on behalf of the entire chat community. Happy birthday, JJ, and thank you to all of you. So until next time, whether it's City Predicting, a watch along, or something else that we are on your screens, make a positive impact in life and have a good night. And thank you for tuning in once again to another edition of Simply Predicting. Have a good night, folks, and enjoy Heatwave. We'll see you Sunday.
Bye, everybody.
Christ almighty.
Bye.
Freaking Arlene and JJ got me to fucking rant.
It was worth
Give
it.
me a C. Give me the H. Give me the
Emmanuel!
A. Give me the S.
Emmanuel!
They're
Give me
not
the
even
E.
together anymore. You don't even see them on TV.
What's
I'm
the
with
spell?
Noah.
Chase
Easy.
you. Because
Woohoo.
it's already.
They're not even a
It's already-
thing anymore.
They're
You
not
don't even see them on
accredited.
TV.
Yes.
No, it is not an
I agree with
accredited
Noah.
institution. Freaking
I agree
idiot.
with Noah. They're no longer existent.
It's not even me doing it this time.
Yeah, right? Everyone else freaking out into the madness because of your birthday, because you freaking Chase You alumni. Again, though, we appreciate you, but damn you. And damn Chase You. All right, I'm hitting the button. Goodbye, folks. God.